All right, so this quarter, we're gonna be, like I told you this morning, we're gonna be switching it up and doing social studies. So what I want you to do, we're gonna be working through this newspaper the whole week. So put your name, if you wanna go ahead and open it up, that's fine. If you wanna leave it folded, that's fine. Put your name up here in the top in this green, this blank green part. Okay, you'll see that just like a newspaper is set up, does it have a title of their paper? Point to the title of their newspaper. It's all across the top here, right? It's called Democracy Studies Weekly. And then, just like a newspaper would be set up, there's different articles. So on this front page, how many different articles do you see? 3? How many different articles do we see though? 1, 2, 3, 4. What do you see? 3? Where do you see 3 different articles? Those are columns. Articles are where, yep, I see what you're saying. Articles are where they talk about one thing and then switch to a different topic. They might be kind of related, but they're different articles. So this one, friends, if you look up here at mine, it's just like yours, but looking up here at mine, do you see the part right in the very middle? That is one article. And that article is titled, Welcome to Democracy Studies Weekly. Look down at the bottom. Do you see the second article on the front page? Point to the second article. Down here at the bottom, kind of has that blue flag looking thing that says connections. And then beside it, it says philanthropy. Say that word with me. Philanthropy. Have you ever heard that word? It says philanthropy and values. Open it up. Now, this part right here, this humongous part that takes up the top half of this page and part of this page, it all goes together. And what's it talking about? The Olympics. Okay, look down at the bottom part in the blue. It's a different article. And this is talking about Hercules, Rome's greatest hero. Look over here in this different print that it has in the blue. It says mythology. Have you ever heard the word myth?
Yeah.
Okay, that's mythology. All right, then if we come over here, there's a different article up here that says being a good sport. There's just a discussion question about what a myth is. What is a myth? And then down at the bottom, it says, let's see, I can't read upside down. Technology and science, Roman aqueducts. And then this picture goes with it. All right, then turn the page. We're going to be looking at the back page. So based on the different things that we read about, we'll complete a crossword puzzle that goes with it. But we need to read it first before we can do the puzzle, right? It'll make a lot more sense. And then there's some map skills that we'll be practicing as well. Down at the bottom, just additional things that we can do, but I'm certain won't have 30-minute social studies time will go very quickly. So what I want you to do is go back to the front. Now this says, welcome to Democracy Studies Weekly. That's the name of the newspaper that we'll be reading each week. All right? This is just an introduction for us. So it says, Democracy Studies Weekly is your place to learn and have tons of fun studying everything from government to history to money. If you have questions, we have answers. Who was Susan B. Anthony? How do people get money to buy the things they need and want? What happens to people who break the law? Where did democracy begin? The answers to these questions and many more can be found in the pages of your Democracy Studies Weekly this year. You'll have lots of chances to enter contests, write stories, and make some great art projects. All right, look over here on the right-hand side, good sports. Do you see that in the black bolded letters in that right-hand column here? That third column in the kind of bluish grayish section. Read that with me. Do you take gymnastics classes or swim on a team? Maybe baseball or soccer is your game. Even the best athletes were once beginners. Of course, when you start playing a sport, you always have to learn the rules first. The same people who gave us the Olympics also taught us about how to play by the rules. Not just in sports, but in our everyday lives. We owe a lot to the people of ancient Greece. Many kids love to play sports so much that they dream of being in the Olympics one day. How much do you know about the Olympics? When did the Olympics start? What were some of the events in the first Olympics? Lace up your sneakers and race inside these pages to find out. Do you know very much about the very first Olympics? No? Do you think they're like the Olympics that we watch and see on TV nowadays? Or do you think they were way different back then?
Way different.
Okay. All right, well, let's look at the bottom part of this page where it says philanthropy and values in the yellowish, greenish, whatever colorish section across there. So maybe you have heard the word philanthropy before. Has anybody in here? I think nobody said they'd had before. What does it mean? It describes actions that people make for the good of other people. So are they trying to help other people out?
Yeah.
Okay. What is a value? It's a way of behaving that people believe is good. Like believing it's good to be honest. Is honesty one of your values? Are you an honest person? Would kindness be a value?
Yes.
It would be. Are you a kind person? One way you can practice philanthropy today is to help yourself and others learn good values. How do you learn good values? You can learn them from your parents and grandparents, your teachers at school or church, and other people you trust. You can also learn them from people that have been recognized for doing good things for society. An easy way to learn about people that have done good things is to visit values.com, excuse me. Values.com has lots of stories and short videos that highlight the traits that make each of us better people. They even have billboards on the highway to remind you about good values. For example, you may have seen a billboard that looks like the one shown here. This billboard is about Oral Lee Brown, who saved money from her job to send 19 kids to college, all by herself. Wow, isn't that cool? You can learn about lots of other people who practice philanthropy at values.com. Be sure to look for more of their billboards on page 4 of Studies Weekly this year. We think they're so cool. We want to remind you to check them out. Okay, so look back at page 4. Just flip the whole newspaper over. Do you see the values billboard? Point to where you think it is. Bottom left-hand corner. That's where I see most everybody pointing. Okay, and on that one it says, could only see possibilities. Who's it showing on that billboard? Who is that?
Helen Keller.
Helen Keller. What do you know about Helen Keller? Could she see?
Mm-mm.
Could she hear?
Mm-mm.
No. So the message that they're trying to portray on this billboard, where it says could only see possibilities, like in her mind, she could picture those things, even though she couldn't actually see them.
We actually, I think in second grade, we actually did like a science thing for like 2 weeks just on Helen Keller.
Did you? Was it
Yeah,
pretty
we
neat?
did too, yeah.
She was pretty amazing, wasn't she? Okay, so maybe this week we'll go to that values.com and check out some of the things that they have on there. All right, let's turn to this centerfold. That's what the center of this newspaper is. Now, the Olympics goes all the way across here, okay? So let's look at that first question. It says, where did the Olympics come from? Anybody know? Without scanning through there. Jenny, can you put your pencil down? Thank you. Greece, have you ever heard of that? Greece?
Yeah. Isn't it like a country?
It is a country. Shall we find where Greece is? I don't want it in my Google Drive. I don't want that. Ouch. We'll add a new one. Okay. We'll pull up a world map. Okay. I know it's kind of hard to see, but do you know where Italy is? Italy's the country that kind of looks like the shape of a boot. So do you see Italy right there?
Uh-huh.
Greece is always right next to it, like across this sea part, right in here. All right, so if this is, whoa, it's freaking out. So here's Greece, remember? Oops, I clicked on it. There's Greece. But I didn't mean to do that. I was trying to show you Greece compared to like where the United States is. Are they close together? In real life, are they close together?
No.
No. On a map, do they look kind of close together?
Yeah.
Kind of. Okay. What ocean separates Greece from the United States? Can you see it? Is that better? So here's Greece, here's the United States. What ocean is between them and us? Everybody.
Atlantic Ocean.
The Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so Greece is where the Olympics first started. Let's go back to our first article here. If you want to make it a little easier, just fold this back in half. Because sometimes they're kind of a pain. Alright, so the first Olympics were held in Greece in 776 BC. Right now it's 2020 AD. So that would be BC means before Christ, because there's different dates. We go before Christ and then after his death. So now it's 2020. The first Olympics were held before Christ. So that would have been 2,796 years ago.
Wow.
When they held the first Olympics.
That's like a long time ago.
That is a long time ago, isn't it? I wasn't even born then.
Hopefully not.
All right. That was about 3,000 years ago. What did they do there? They rounded it. They estimated it, didn't they? Everybody sitting up straight. Following along. They were held in the village of Olympia every
4 years.
only men who were Greek citizens could take part in the games. So if somebody was from Italy, could they have been in the Olympics there? No. What if they were from Turkey?
No.
No. What if they were from Spain?
No.
What if they were from Russia?
No.
No. Just if they lived in Greece. And men and women?
No.
Only
Men.
Only men. The women didn't get to be in the Olympics. Things are different today. The Olympics travel to cities all around the world. Anyone on earth who is talented enough and willing to work hard can be an Olympic athlete. The Greek Olympics went on for more than 1,000 years and then died out. What does that mean? They died out.
Kind of stopped.
Yeah, they stopped. They didn't have them anymore. There were no Olympics for more than 1,500 years. Then a Frenchman named Baron Pierre de Coubertin convinced many countries to bring them back. They decided to hold the first modern Olympics where the games began in the first place, Greece. The Olympics have taken place ever since. Today, the Olympics are divided into
Winter.
and
Summer.
games that alternate every.
2 years.
The Summer Olympics take place in years that can be evenly divided by 4. The Winter Olympics are held during the even-numbered years when the Summer Olympics are not taking place. But Olympic athletes are always training and getting ready for the games. They work hard to try and win a gold, silver, or bronze medal in their
Sport.
Okay, so the next part is about which events were at the first Olympics. Don't read ahead. What events do you think they might have done in the first Olympics? Do you think they did the figure skating?
No.
Do you think they did the snow skiing?
No.
What kind of things do you think they might have done? Running, basketball, maybe shooting something. Other thoughts, what they might have done?
Volleyball.
maybe hitting a ball back and forth, running a mile,
Swimming.
maybe swimming. Change your mind? Okay, let's read about some of those things. It says, which events were at the first Olympics? Athletes in the ancient Olympics took part in many sports. What's the first one?
Running.
What's the next one?
Wrestling.
And throwing things like the discus, which is a round metal disc, and the javelin, which is a spear. They also had horseback riding and chariot races. Do you guys know what those are? It's where they stand, I'll show you. It's where they stand, oops, I can't type. Look like these. Okay, so you're probably more familiar with that now. Okay, so they had chariot races also. And then they said the javelin, which is just a spear that they'll run and then see how far they can throw it. All right. The first Olympians didn't have, I lost my spot, a marathon. A marathon is a 26-mile race. But the story of the first marathon says that a Greek soldier once ran 26 miles to tell everyone the Greek army had won a battle. The poor man was so worn out when he finished that he died on the spot. No one knows for sure if the story is true, but we do have a 26-mile race in the Olympics now. Kind of interesting. I don't know. All right, so then the laws and rules. Every event at the Olympics has rules that players have to follow. Are there rules in every type of game?
Yes.
Yes, just like in the Olympics there were too. It says, but what about the rules and laws we use every day? Think about the rules you have in your home. How many of you have rules at home that you have to follow? How many of you have to follow rules at school? Are there rules in our community that we have to follow? Are there rules in a state that we have to follow?
Yes.
Okay. So then Greece has a lot to do with those too. Long ago in Greece, if someone was accused of doing something wrong, he would be brought in front of a powerful person from the town. That person would listen while some people told him why they thought the accused person was guilty. If he believed them, the accused person could be beaten or even killed. Now, nowadays, they go to court, right? If they get in big trouble with something, they have to go to court and they have a lawyer and there's a judge there, okay? Then it says sometimes popular people would accuse someone they didn't like of a crime just to get that person in trouble. Is that how people still kind of are nowadays? Yeah. Does that seem unfair?
Yes.
Definitely. The Greeks thought it was, so they changed the way things were done. They made laws that everyone had to follow. They started the first courts. So thousands of years ago, the Greeks started courts, like similar to what we still use today. Then they did something really amazing. They decided that one person should not be able to say whether a person was guilty or innocent. The decision would be made by a group of people called a jury. Do we have a jury in the United States? Are there juries that listen to whether people should be found innocent or guilty?
Yes.
Yeah, just like, even though it wasn't a real story, in the story of the trial of Cardigan Jones, was there a jury?
Yeah.
Yeah. That sort of thing started in Greece. Because of that great idea thought up by the Greeks so long ago, we have juries in the United States too. If you are ever accused of a crime, you have the right to have a jury decide whether you are guilty or not. In America, juries are made up of 12 people. In ancient Greece, 500 people were on a jury. Imagine trying to get 500 people to agree on something.
Nope.
That would be tricky. Okay, we'll keep reading more of this tomorrow. You can just leave it the way it is. Just carefully put it in a folder so that you have yours for tomorrow. Then I want you to get out your Chromebook and work on iReady.